Hi, my name is Josh, and today we're going to be going over how the Excel files work with the NAUTV graphics package, and we're going to talk about how you update them. So let's go ahead and grab one of our blank Excels. So this is where they all are. Now you can see we have a folder for every sport that we do. Let's start with football. Now football, you see, they have ones for each specific conference team that we're going to play. So let's start with NAU. Let's go ahead and grab this Excel, and then I'll show you how this works. So what you do here is you're going to want to go ahead and change any information that needs to be changed. Now for NAUs, this is probably going to stay the same for the most part, but it's good to double check and make sure that the right coach's name and everything's spelled right. So all of these light yellow areas are going to be fed into this monster of a table and be put into a way that and get put into a place that the graphics package will be looking for it. So that's just a little easy. You don't really need to do anything over there, but I'll show you what you do need to do. You are going to have to go to the website. So see how this says roster view grid? That's because when you click on the website, the way that it's set up is it doesn't show you exactly the way we want to look at it. So if we try and copy all this, it won't be in a nice Excel format. So if we go down to grid, then we can see everything we need to see. So let's go ahead and grab all the way from the left of the number 1 and then go all the way down to the bottom. And then you can either Control-C or you can right-click and copy. It doesn't matter yet, but it will matter in 1 second. So see how it says paste as special text here? So what we're going to want to do is we need to right-click this area, right? And then see how it says paste special and then text. This way it doesn't ruin any of the formatting or any of the things that might be ruined by it. And then it also makes it so these aren't doesn't think that that's 2, because then it will be 6 minus 4, you know. So that's one thing that you want to watch out for. Now it says go to sheet 2, so let's do that. And these are all the stats pages for all the different types of stats for football. Now this is by far the most that you're going to have. I think the only other one that has more than just one is soccer, and that's just a separate one for goalie. Anyways, you're going to want to go ahead and click on this link, which will take you here to the Big Sky one. You might have to update it. This one's the 2017 one, just like you might have to update the one over here in case the new season comes out. Right now there are no stats because the season hasn't started yet, but I'll show you how to do it with this one anyways. So you're going to want to highlight these guys, Control-C or copy, right-click copy, whatever you want to do. Go to sheet 2 and see how this one says rushing, and then so does this one. So we're going to want to paste this under the rushing, and we're going to do the same thing we did over there. Paste special text. Cool. So as you can see, there's passing, receiving, returning punt, all of those. Let's go ahead and look at that again. And as you can see, passing, receiving, punt returns. Now it may seem like a lot, and this is going to be the most time consuming for football, but it beats entering them in by hand, which is what we had to do. Let's copy that, and then I'll show you what you do if you accidentally copy it. If you accidentally just hit Control-V, it ruined the formatting. So just don't worry if that happens. Just undo and try again. Paste special text. Great. So you're going to want to go through and do that for every one of these. And it's not as bad as you would think. There's only like 12, so don't worry. But once you get all the way down to defensive stats, let's go ahead and show you how to do that one again. So you're going to get all the way down to defensive stats. Now you want to grab all these two and go ahead and Control-C And then let's go back to here, right click, paste, special, text. Alright. Now we got all of those. So now for NAU, you're not going to have to do this for any other teams. Just for NAU, you're going to have to go to the Big Sky Conference standings page. Of course, you might need to update this link as well, but for now, this is all we have. Let's go ahead and grab all of these. Control C. And then let's go ahead and right-click, paste special text. Alright, now the NAU sheet is 100% complete. Let's save it if we want to. But the more important thing we're going to have to do is save as. So we want to save as, and we want to go Browse, and then we need to find Desktop, Active Files, Home Excel goes here. So you need to label it excel.xlsx. So let's save it right now. Say there's a file already in there. If you click Save As, Browse, Desktop, Active Files, Home Excel, you can just click on it and it'll name it and save it. And it'll ask you if you want to replace it, and yes, we do, so let's do that. Great, we're all set. We've got an updated Excel file. We're ready to go. Let me show you another way to do this. So say you've saved this, right? And we know where we saved it. We were saving it under this one, NAU blank Excel's football. If you know that you saved it there, you can Control C or copy this and throw it on in this active files. Home Excel goes here. Right click, paste, and then yes, copy and replace. And then your Excel will be there. So there's a couple ways you can do it, but whichever way you think is easiest. Alright, now, so that's going to be one of the easiest ones. Let's go look at another NAU one, because this is something that might come into the football Excels, but isn't there right now. Let's go look at the blank Excels, volleyball, NAU. So volleyball is a little different, but it's genuinely the same. You just have to do the same thing. Click on that, paste it in here, you know. But the other thing you can do is see how this says starting lineup, enter player number. So the starting lineup, you're going to want to just click 5 or whatever the player number is, and you can just put those numbers in and it'll fill out the rest for you. So that'll make it quicker to update the starting lineup whenever you're doing this in right before a game. It's usually a bit hectic. And then also the other thing is this one has 2 files for standings, but that's not a big deal. But that's pretty much it for the differences. So it's the same thing for all the Excels, for all the NAU Excels at least. So now we're done with those. Let's just go ahead and close this. We don't need to save it because we're not really using it right now. Let's go ahead and look at one of these other ones. So that's how to do the NAU Excels, and they're all going to be pretty much the same. Same with football and away files. All the football ones are going to be conference, so they're going to be already set up for you. So let's look at these blank Excels again. Let's look under volleyball. Let's look under volleyball. Now you can see there's 2 other options other than NAU. There's non-conference and there's conference. So if you don't know whether or not a team's in a conference, that's basically, you know, you're going to have to ask if you don't know. But this is what it looks like for a conference team. Let's go ahead and say we are playing one of these conference teams. Let's go ahead and pick one. Let's look at, let's do Eastern Washington, say. So we're playing Eastern Washington, so we're going to need to find their stats by themselves, right? So let's go ahead and go to Eastern Washington. And then usually if you type in athletics as well, it'll bring you to their athletics page, which will help you find the roster. Great. Eastern Washington University Athletics. Cool. Let's go sports. And we want women's volleyball. Cool. Here's their roster. It's already in a format that we can use. So let's go ahead and open up the temporary file that we have set up. So over here under blank Excels, there's one that says temporary, right? Let's double click on that and see how it just is, it's just a blank Excel sheet. So we're going to want to go ahead and grab all of these. Grab from all the way from the left. Sometimes you gotta grab up here, or let's go from the bottom. Let's go from the bottom. And then go all the way up to her face. Great. Control C or right click copy, whichever one. And let's put it in this temporary one. Now paste special text again. Great. And as we can see, we've got numbers and oh, there's not that many numbers. Let's go to last year, just so we have more numbers. Cool. So let's go ahead and grab all of these from the bottom. Cool. Copy it, and then let's go to the temporary and let's paste special text. Great. See, now we have all those numbers and we have the height and all of that. So now here's the thing. If we go under the conference volleyball Excel and we go to the first page, now there's all this stuff that you can fill out. So you might as well do that for who are we playing? Eastern Washington. So you're going to want to update all that information for Eastern Washington. So let's go to back to the conference one. So let's just make this say Eastern Washington. And there are the Eagles. EWU. Now you're going to want to go through that for all of these. These ones are mainly for the this is, and then there's also the coach and all that. So those are things you're going to want to do. But for now, what we are interested is this area right here. So as you remember what we did for the NAU one, we just copied and pasted. But not all these away schools are going to be the same exact layout. See, this one has the name of the picture, and then the number, and then the player name, and then their thing. So let's go ahead and paste these in here. So let's put the numbers down first. So if you just grab those, Control C, and then since they're in this, since we are using the temporary XL, the temporary file, we can just click on this top cell and then Control V, and it'll enter all those in. Now right here it says player, so these orange ones are the ones you want to look out for. These orange ones are changed depending on how they're set up, right? So if we go ahead and grab these guys, so notice how this is first name space last name. So we would want to put it in the second column. But for now, I'm just going to show you what happens if you put it in the first column. Oh no, it says error. So if you control it, you can just undo that. So if you get that error, that means you posted it in the wrong one. And there we go. Now we're in the right one. If we accidentally put, let's say, Stroud, Josh in this one, it'll still say error. So you wanna put make sure you're putting it in the right one. Uh-oh, gotta copy it again. So go ahead and Control C, and then let's put that in here. And make sure you're lining them up right. It shouldn't be too difficult if you're putting them on the top. But now we've got position, height, year, and hometown. Cool. So these are all in the right order. So go ahead and just copy all of those if you want. and paste it on in there. And we are all set now. So see how that fills out all this information. This is all set up so it does that for us. But since this is so we filled out all that. It wasn't too big of a pain. We just had to make sure it was getting the data in correctly. So now we need to go fill in the stats. All right. So the stats is going to be just as easy as it was with NAU. Minus, you don't even have to put in the standings. So that's the best part. So let's go ahead and click on this and go to the Big Sky website. So we're Eastern Washington, so we're playing Eastern Washington, so we're going to want to go to Eastern Washington, and then individual statistics. Cool. Now here we are. Just go ahead and grab all that, Control-C, and then let's go ahead into here, attacking, paste special, text, and there we go. All of that information is going in. So we can do that for the next one as well. Let's go ahead and go under here. Cool. So now we have all that information in the graphics package ready to go. If you want to, you should probably save this file, save as, and let's go under desktop, blank Excels, or desktop, active files, and then this is going to be the away team, so let's go ahead and go in there and then save it. Great. Cool. Now that it's saved, oh, there's another one called Excel open. So if you have one open that says Excel, you won't be able to save it, so make sure you close that once you're done. Great. And we are screwing up here. Uh-oh. There we go. Let's go ahead and close that. Now let's try and browse. Desktop. Is this the right one? Yeah, Conference VB. Desktop, active files, away Excel. Click on that so it names it the right name. Save. Yes, we want to replace it. Great. Now if we want to save this somewhere, just in case we play them again in the future and we just want to have to be able to update the stats, go ahead. Just know that anything in the active files folder is not safe. It will probably get overwritten later on by someone else. So we can go ahead and close this now that we saved it. And then we can also close this temporary. We don't need to save it. If you want to, you can, but you know, you might have to delete some things later on. So it's best not to save it, and we'll just leave that there as is. So the most important thing that we just did was we closed the Excels before we opened Trio. I don't even think the media sequencer, yeah, no, it's not. But if you have the Excel files open when you open Trio, it's going to cause a lot of problems and it'll be extremely slow. So make sure you have those closed before you open Trio. Alright, now let's talk about one more type of Excel file we have, and this is probably going to be the biggest pain in the butt. Let's go ahead and do it for soccer, might as well. Non-conference team. So a non-conference team is going to be the most time consuming out of all of them. So this first page looks very similar. You've seen this first sheet looks very similar. You've seen it before, right? It's the same thing. For soccer, if there's a player number 00, you're going to have to manually type in 99 for her number, or else it'll cause some issues. So that's one thing you got to look out for. But here we go. We've got the starting lineup like everything else. But under sheet 2, now look at all these. These are all things you're going to have to put in yourself. So it's not as bad as it looks. Let's figure out who we're playing. I think we're playing Arizona Christian soon. So let's go ahead and do that. So we would put in the bio as usual. We would find the website. This is it. We would go to sports, you know, if it'll work. Sports, and then women's sports, we would want, what were we doing? Soccer? Yeah, soccer. So women's soccer roster. And that'll give you all the information. Cool, and that one's an easy way to do it. So if you want to do that, well, you're going to have to do it, but I'm not going to do it right now because I already showed you how to do it. Now we need to find stats. So here we go. Here is, let's grab the 2017 season stats. And here's what they've got. So they've got something like this. So we're going to have to do the same thing we did with the last one. And we're going to have to go under and pull up the temporary. So here we go. Let's go ahead and put that to the side. And let's open this guy up. And here's the soccer stats. And let's grab all the way from 9 down to the last one. Copy. And then let's go to the temporary. Right click. Paste special text. Cool. Alright. Now, so here's the thing with this. So see how it, certain things might look like they're one file, and they are on the Big Sky page, but this one, these are 3 different cells for the GPGS. And some of them don't do that. So this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to go ahead and grab this temporary file, and then let's go ahead and grab our non-conference file. Let's put the non-conference on the left and the temporary on the right. It doesn't really matter, whatever you want. So attacking, let's go ahead and grab these numbers, Control C, Control V, and now we already have our first choice. Player last comma first or first space last. Now these look like first space last, so let's go ahead and put those in the right column. Paste, or you can just Control V it. I'm doing Control C and Control V because it's quicker, and if you learn how to do it, it'll be a bit quicker. So now there's GP and GS. So that's these two. So if they're by themselves, we're going to put them in these 2 columns, or if they're together, we'll put them both in this column. But since they're by themselves, we'll just Control C, Control V. And then what I'm doing is I'm clicking in the top cell, and then I hold Shift, and it grabs all those. So Control C, Control V. Cool. Now we're going to want to keep doing this all the way up to the last one. But another good tip is you want to grab these as well and make sure they're on the right thing, because there might be a missing stat or an extra stat, so it might not be perfectly correct. So if we paste special text with all those, now oh no, so they don't really line up perfectly, so that's something you got to watch out for. If you grab that top row and then grab it by the side and drag it on over, that'll fix them for the most part, but you gotta keep watching and make sure you're on the right track. So temporary and non-conference, where are we at? So now we're at G. So see, if we didn't do that, we would have accidentally put the minutes under goals. So what we want to do is copy the goals instead and paste those on in here. What happened? Grab this, Shift, Control C, and then go over here, Control V. Cool. And then A, great, assists. Let's grab those. And then we're going to go ahead and do that for all of these stats. And it's not as hard or as difficult as you might think it's going to be. It goes by pretty quickly, and it's better than typing them in by hand again. So let's pretend we finished all this. Let's look over here, PK. So as you see, sometimes they mess up a bit and they become unaligned, and you can grab those and drag them over to the side to realign them, just to make your life a little easier and make it go by a bit quicker. This sucks when that happens, but there's really not much you can do. So let's go ahead and finish this. up. Oops, a little too much. So let's go ahead and realign all these, and then we're going to keep on going and then finish it up. So once you've realigned them, you can just grab them all, and then there's a PK attack. Oh, alright, so look at this one. PK and attack. So these are together as one, even though they had one on the other side that was different. So let's go ahead and grab these, and then we'll Control C, and then we got to make sure we put it in the right one. They're together, so Control V. So always watch out for the orange ones. Not all of them are going to have an error sign for you. So let's go ahead and go over to here. So goals. So there's another stat for soccer, and that's the goalie stats. So those are always a little bit tricky, so don't forget about those. And then you can just go ahead and copy those. Control C. And you can go over here to temporary, and if you just click this corner and delete, it'll delete everything for you. Control V up, Control Z, right click, paste special, text. Alright, now we can just go ahead and grab these guys. Control C, put them on into here. Where is it? Put them on into here, and then Control, did I grab the numbers or? Yeah, I grabbed the players. So let's go ahead and put those in there. They're spaced, so remember we got to put them in the right place. Cool. So that's basically how it's done. I think you get the gist. So watch out for those guys. And yeah, that's how these Excels work. And whenever you're done with one, don't save that one. But whenever you're done with an Excel, put it into the right folder, which is again File, Save As, Browse, and then go to Desktop, Active Files, and then Home Excel, or this one's Away, so Away Excel goes here. Click on that and click Save, and then yes, you want to overwrite it. So that's how that's done. That's how the Excels work. So great. I hope you understand all that. And remember, don't open Trio. If you have to go in and you find something's wrong in Trio, you can go down to the active files and open them up and then change them and save it. But always close down Trio and your engines before opening the Excel, or else Trio might crash. So just remember that and you'll be good to go. So great. Thanks.